Master Bruce, I hope you are receiving this video. I see that we are running a little short on time. Now, once again, you are running late. Nevertheless, I find myself doing your laundry. But that is the lot of Alfred Pennyworth. Do you remember, Master Bruce, when you came to me and said, Alfred, I need to learn how to iron a shirt. Do you know, I think I was more surprised at that than when you told me you were going to dress like a bat and fight cry. And I said to you, Master Bruce, while I will be happy to teach you the subtle art of ironing shirts, the perfection of a starch collar, the envy of a well-pressed cuff, I must ask, why? Why do you want to learn this? Do you remember what you said to me, Master Bruce? You said that you were going undercover as a butler. You, 6'4", 240 pounds of pure muscle, pretending to be a butler like your old Alfred. You pulled it off, though. Not even the penguin, when he looked you dead in the eye and told you that you had scorched his collar. You pulled it off, Master Bruce. Let me just check right now. Let's see. Yes, we've got a little more time. Now, do you remember what I told you about the iron? I know you, Master Bruce. You do everything in extremes. Everything with you is to the max. And I knew that the first thing that you would want to do would be to crank up the heat to the maximum so that you could iron things as quickly as possible, as efficiently as possible. And I said, no, Master Bruce. Each setting on the iron is important. Each setting has meaning. If it is a 100% cotton shirt, you set it wrong, you will scorch it. And if you have one of those disgusting rayon blends and you set it the wrong way, it will melt like paraffin. But you still set it too high, didn't you? And why did you do that, Master Bruce? You did it because you got to be in a hurry. And if there's one thing that I want you to remember at the end of this message, is not to get into too much of a hurry, Master Bruce. You know that I have the highest regard for your efforts, for your skill, for all that you have done, those years that you were gone, that you were training, those years when I thought you were dead. But you never gave up. You never stopped. And when you least expected, you came back to me, Master Bruce. I found you on my doorstep. 10 years later, you were gaunt. You were haggard. And you told me, Alfred, I need to go to the cave below. Well, I had your father's climbing equipment. There we went, down into the cave. I remember the terror that you had as a child, the terror of the bats below. But that wasn't enough, was it? You had to spread that terror to those who would cause harm, those who would injure others. You had to become a bat. And do you remember, Master Bruce, what I said the first night you donned that cowl? You looked at me with those haunted eyes. The first time I saw your true face, the face of Batman, I said, "Oh my God." And you have never stopped bringing terror to those who deserve it. Now that's our first shirt, Master Bruce, but we are not quite done yet. Let me check. Yes, we've got just a little more time. Why don't we continue? Master Bruce, I know that you have been investigating the workings of Ra's al Ghul. And I know that he has been intent on saving the world by destroying humanity. Sounds like some people that I knew from back in the war. I know that you're aware of my time as a combat medic, but I've rarely spoken of it to you. There were times during the war when I would encounter evil, darkness. People who had lost themselves so much to battle that they no longer saw the final goal. The only thing that remained for them was the act of destruction. And here is the most terrifying part, Master Bruce. I was not always talking about the enemy. Sometimes, even our friends lose themselves to madness. Your poor friend Harvey Dent being a perfect example. I want you to remember that, Master Bruce. I want you to remember that even you can lose yourself. I know, by the way, that's why you refuse to destroy the Joker, even though you could over and over again take him out in a heartbeat. You refuse to do so. And I know why, Master Bruce. I know because if you do, there will be no stopping. There will be no reckoning for you. And so even though it tears you apart every time you find another body with one of those rictus grins, you refuse. God bless you, Master Bruce. Even though he may deserve it over and over again for all that he's done, you refuse to fall to that level. Just like you refuse Ra's al Ghul's many offers to join him. You know in your heart that with your intellect, with your resources, that you could aid him. Between the two of you, you could easily remake the world into a paradise. The only small problem would be that it would come at the lives of billions. But I've known and I've seen in the dark of the night, Master Bruce, when you are sitting in front of the Bat computer, the soup that I brought you, stone cold, I know that you have considered it. And yet, again and again, you refuse him, even despite your affection for his daughter Talia. I know it would be so easy for you to give in, Master Bruce. And yet you do not. 2 shirts in, Master Bruce. Tick tock, tick tock. You were always in a hurry. I remember shortly after the passing of your parents, I saw you out in the yard, kicking the tree. You nearly broke your foot that night. You were reading a manual on martial arts, and you wanted to begin your training. You wanted to learn how to fight so that you could destroy those who would harm others, like the man who harmed your parents. And I brought you in, and I soaked your foot in salts, and I said, Master Bruce, there will come a time when that tree will fall before you, but not before you train your body and your mind. No matter how resolved you are, if you go too quickly, even a mighty, mighty oak will break in the storm. You must also be like the willow. You must be willing to bend, to be flexible, to change. We began your instruction that night. I taught you what I could. After all, I did learn a few things in the Royal Navy, but what you needed was so much more. And then we began the arrangements. You were so young when you left my side, Master Bruce. And yes, I tracked you as best I could all over the world as you received your training. Trust me, I was the one managing the bank statements. Until finally, you disappeared. Gone. I feared the worst. I thought I had lost you. I thought you had gone too quickly. But that was the time when you had become undercover with the Assassin's Guild, the League of Assassins, led by Ra's al Ghul. And you could hardly be making withdrawals from your public account without drawing their attention. I know that that was the last place that you went before beginning your mission. And I know that the temptation to stay with them, especially the temptation of Talia, was nothing to be sneezed at. But you knew his ultimate goal, though many of his followers did not. You knew what he had planned for the world. That his plan was to cause every single Lazarus pit to explode at once, all over the world, setting off such a cataclysmic chain reaction that 99% of all humans would perish in a single night. And that, of course, he would rise afterwards to be the new ruler of the world, with you and Talia as his heirs. The Lazarus pit could no longer sustain him. How you must have been tempted, Master Bruce. How you must have wanted to give in at times. But you didn't. You stayed true to your course. You became the bat man. And I am very proud of you, Bruce. I am very proud of all that you've done. And I want you to know that your mother and your father would be very proud of you too. Please remember, no matter what, stay true to yourself. Stay true to who you are, Master Bruce. There will come times when things will seem so dark that you will want to give in to the darkness that you wade into every night. That taunt that madman Bane gave you, that he was the one born of the darkness. And perhaps that is true. But you, Master Bruce, you are the master of darkness. You do not give in to its impulses, to its desires, to its temptations. You understand it, but you are not ruled by it. Let us see. Almost time. We've got one more to do here. Finish up. Don't rush just because you're in a hurry. Make sure you get the sleeves. Make sure the cuff is properly pressed. And get both sides, for heaven's sakes, Master Bruce. In case someone isn't there to do it for you. As it must be obvious to you by now, Master Bruce, I am recording this to distract Ra's al Ghul and his minions. They've sent a force here to watch over the mansion. They know who you are, of course, and they are planning on sending a full-scale attack on the mansion in an effort to take you out once and for all. I'm afraid that I cannot stand against them. A little bit of fisticuffs, perhaps, but I cannot stand against the League of Assassins. So I have started this recording and shown them that I am doing a mundane task so that they have delayed a little longer. But they're becoming suspicious now. I can see them starting to move on the monitors. They'll be closing in soon. The automated systems will keep them at bay for a short time, but not long enough. And I know, Master Bruce, that you are far away right now. I know, Master Bruce, that you would come and that you would save me if you could. And most of all, I want you to know that it's all right. You already have saved me, Master Bruce. When your parents were slain, I know you fell into a dark depression, but I, as their butler, I blamed myself. If I had only given them better instructions, if I had only reviewed and looked into the area that they had taken you to, but it was becoming known as Crime Alley. I blamed myself. For that I am sorry. But you have succeeded so much in your life, Master Bruce. And you will continue to succeed. You are the greatest superhero the world has ever known. Looks like we're out of time. You are also the finest son that I could ever hope for. If you don't mind me using that terrible imposition. Well, the explosives will be going off in a moment. There will be a few less League of Assassins to stop. I am terribly sorry that I can't deliver these shirts to you. I'm afraid they'll be a little singed, but take care, Master Bruce. I love you. Keep fighting. Thank you so much for watching Roleplay Riot. If you've enjoyed this, like and subscribe. Put in the comments below what you would like me to do next. And until then, I've got a shirt freshly pressed just for you.